It's Wednesdays with Wade. San Antonio Brahmas head coach Wade Phillips joins the Blitz every Wednesday for an inside look at your San Antonio Brahmas. Now, here's the Blitz with Wade Phillips.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Joining us on the Buyers Barricades guest line, Brahmas head coach Wade Phillips for Wednesdays with Wade. Coach, we talked last week about knocking off Birmingham, handing those boys their first loss of the year, and you guys got it done. Your excitement level after that game seemed a little bit higher than even when you clinched a playoff spot.
Yeah, I mean that was a big win for us. It gave us an opportunity to play at home in the playoffs, but it also beat a team that hadn't lost in 2 years. So that was pretty significant.
Wait, I got to tell you, that defense of yours, I mean, just looked fantastic. They were outstanding in that ball game. Birmingham couldn't seem to figure anything out, but I wouldn't say it's the best performance of the year, but certainly one of them, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, there was the least points ever that Birmingham had ever scored in their franchise history. So it was a great game defensively. Although part of it is our offense had a 17-play drive on them too that kept our defense off the field. So that was pretty important.
Complimentary football for sure. Wade Phillips joining us here on the Blitz. So the last 2 weeks, you've knocked off the last two champions in the various leagues in Arlington and Birmingham. You clinch the playoff spot a week ago. Now a chance to play at home. Not bad for a team that was picked to finish last at the beginning of the UFL season, huh?
Yeah, we were picked dead last, I guess you'd call it, but our guys didn't believe it, and I didn't either. We have a great group of guys that really worked hard and really earned where they are.
All right, Wade, I've got to ask you a question because, and it might be a knucklehead question.
It's a knucklehead question, Coach.
Don't get mad at me.
You can get mad at him.
So I'm watching the game. You guys score your first two touchdowns, and you go for 1 point, and you didn't get either one of them. My question is, if that's what's the decision process by going for 1 or 2 in that situation?
It's about 20% easier to go for 1 than it is 2. So. It's hard to make it's easier to make a 1 point than it is 2. So, that, and if you make one of those, then they have to make one, so, I mean, you could go for 3 every time, but your chances of making it are a lot less. Your chances of making 2 are a lot less. So, depends on where you are in the game now. We've made a 3-point that helped us win a game this year. So, but when you're ahead, you want to inch ahead by so many points. And we got to a 9-point lead, and actually we missed a field goal, or we'd been 12-point lead, which would put them two scores behind. But the key really is getting ahead by more than 9, getting ahead by 10 points. Getting ahead certainly by more than 3 points, more than 10 points. That's the thinking in all those processes, whether to go for 2 or 1, and the percentages of making it. We had made 8. I believe we had made 8 1-pointers this year. So we felt like we had a better chance of doing that.
Now, when you think about where you're going for it to get 1 point versus 2. Is I think where Joe was going. Why wouldn't you just go for 2 every time? I mean, it just seems like, it's not that different. Then I think about even this game, you didn't convert any of them. Do you sometimes wonder, well, it's a yard or 2 yards. It shouldn't be that hard to get it into the end zone. We should have a play that could get there.
No. I mean, it's still percentages. Like I said, we made 8 of them this year, 1-pointers, and we made 1 3-pointer. Maybe we should go for 3 every time, right? No, that's not right. We did it because we had to. But if you go for 2 every time, you're not necessarily going to make percentage-wise, you're not going to make as many, and it's not going to be enough to cover the percentages of making the one-pointers, which we'd already made 8 of.
I was just curious,
Get
Coach.
that or not?
He was armchairing you on Monday, big time,
I
Coach.
was, Coach, a little bit, but I figured I could do that because I was calling for you guys to hang that L on Birmingham, and you did it. I figured it was a good time to ask that question.
Yeah, it wasn't. But that's okay.
Do you? I'm curious. I think about like all the coaches that I know at doing like high school games. There's the scoring chart of when you might need to go for 2 and where you're at. In this league, knowing you could go for 1, 2, or 3, is there a chart that you use, or do you have a coach that keeps track of all of that for you?
Well, I keep track of that myself, but yeah, and it depends on who you're playing. We also plan for it on whoever we're playing, you know, because certain teams we feel like we could make 2 points easier than other teams, or even 3 points. So we talk about those situations going into the game as to what we're going to, especially the first touchdown, and we go ahead, you know, what we want to do. And it, you know, when you're playing a close game, every single point counts, and most of our games have been close. So those one-pointers have been important for us.
No doubt, Coach. I've got to ask you:
and we missed a field goal that would have put us 12 ahead, which, you know, those kind of things we have to be factored in too. I mean, we were 9 points ahead of a team that hadn't lost a game in 2 years and could have been 12 points ahead of them.
But your defense stepped up on that last drive, which was outstanding. The interception there to end the ball game was just a fitting end for the way that defense played.
Yeah, it really was. They like I said, I mean, anytime you hold a team to under 10 points in any league, but especially a team that had never been held under 10 points in their whole franchise history, is pretty impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. Wade Phillips joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Quarterback situation. I know Normandy got the start. Chase Garbers came in, played the majority of the game, played well, 16 of 23 for 139 yards. I've seen some mixed reports on Quentin. Did he get hurt and not come back in, or just Chase took over and was playing well? You talk about the quarterback situation for the game over the weekend.
Well, we were going to play Chase enough in the game to kind of get him back because he'd been out for 5 games. So we were going to work him back in the game. That's why we started Normandy. We're going to play Chase, then Normandy 2 series, then Chase 2 series, and kind of wean him back in to playing. But Normandy got hurt, and so he ended up playing the whole game or the rest of the game. And he played well. But I didn't want to start him and play the whole game when he hadn't played at all. And so we're expecting Normandy to play, you know, maybe even half of the game, and it didn't work out that way. But it worked out that Chase got enough work to feel like that he's back and we can play with him the rest of the year.
Is the Normandy injury something that's going to keep him out this week or for some time?
We don't know yet. He did some throwing in practice today. We'll see how sore his arm is. But, you know, Chase will be starting.
Okay, so Chase will start this week against St. Louis and likely in the playoff game against St. Louis, which is hopefully in San Antonio. And then Chase would start in that championship game a couple weeks from now up in St. Louis. That's the plan, right?
That's the plan, yes.
All right, and then at running back, you know, Lovett going to make his way back?
We don't know that yet. And McFarland is kind of questionable too. We have like 6 starters that didn't practice today. So we've had a lot of injuries. You guys know that, but you know, we had like 20 guys that are in for treatment. So 20 out of 50. So we just had a lot of guys banged up throughout the season, and it keeps mounting. So that's the thing that worries me as much as anything.
Well, Wade, when you look at this game, and obviously I know you want to win because you want that playoff game at home, and I know it's important and all of that, but with the injury situation, is it good to have a game that I don't want to say, yeah, I'm kind of digging my
Yeah,
hole
you
here.
are.
But to get some of these guys healthy before the playoffs begin.
We're aware of that, and we're going to do it. I want guys 100%, certainly in playing for the playoff win, but I still want to play at home, and I want to play our best. You can't worry about guys that are healthy going into a game, but certainly the guys that are banged up, you do worry about those guys, how much playing time, if any, some of them. And like I say, we had 6 guys that didn't practice at all today. So I don't know. I don't know if they could play in the game. So that's the worrisome part. But we want to win this game and play at home. I mean, that's our goal.
Wade Phillips joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. If you're watching on YouTube, which you can do on the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel, Wade with a nice big gulp and a T-shirt that said "Hardest Workers in the Room." Every week you got different shirts, but that motto, that mentality, if you will, the next man up, seems to work well for you guys. You've been around football your entire life. Every team says that, but very few can pull it off. What is it about this group of guys that is able to pull it off? A team that, as we talked about, predicted to finish last, yet you put a whole new group together and you guys are going to the playoffs.
Yeah, they play well together. We have a lot of talent. I mean, it's talent first. I wish it was all coaching, but it isn't. So, but we have a lot of talented players, but they work hard. They're tremendously hard workers, and they practice hard. A lot of teams play hard in a game, but this team practices hard, and you can tell it. I think you can tell it on the field in the games. It carries over. And they pull for each other. It's a great group to coach, and I'm really enjoying it.
I know you're being humble there, Wade, but with the way this defense is playing, your forte is defense. And obviously, you need talent back there, but you putting them in the right spots to succeed and your coaching staff, I mean, that's huge. And it seems like you guys are doing that and you have the right pieces in the right place.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, as far as the players are concerned, we have and the good thing is, now St. Louis hasn't lost a game at home, but it is an indoor game. And I think the Alamo Dome helps us too, because we have a lot of speed. We have a lot of fast defensive players, offensive players, and playing in a dome stadium, I think, helps us. I'd rather play in our dome stadium than St. Louis, so that's what we're going to try to do.
And then you're going to get there. Now, obviously, injuries are uncontrollable. Kicking situation, I know Ryan, he missed from 53, but a couple weeks ago he's missed a couple. How concerned are you with your kicking game if the game is on the line and you've got to send him out there?
Well, I believe he won one from 51. So, when the game was on the line, he made the field goal that won the game. So, it was 51 yards outdoors. Yeah, he overcompensated this last week. He left a couple to the right, and he just overcompensated a little bit. He's a smart guy. He hadn't missed one in practice this week at all. So I expect him to do well. Again, he's like a lot of our players. I think he's a hard worker, and he tries to get better and better at what he does. So I have a lot of confidence in him.
Wade, going up to St. Louis, obviously, they love their football team up there. There's going to be a big crowd in their place. I don't think there's any question. What kind of problems, if any, does that pose for the Brahmas?
Well, it's a noise factor certainly affects offenses, the opposing offense. So that's us. So, we're going to work. We've been working indoors some with loud music, so we can communicate. It's communication skills on offense that have to be really good at your communication skills when the noise, so you don't make mistakes like jumping the count or offsides or illegal procedures, all that stuff. Plus, just everybody being on the same page, because we change some plays too. We don't just we go up the line of scrimmage, and in fact, Garbers is really good at this. He'll change to the best play, and so to be able to do that with the noise, you got to work on that. But that's what we're working on this week. So, it's something that you have to be aware of, and you have to work on, and that's what we're doing.
And it's been an advantage for you, and it certainly was against Birmingham this weekend. One of the video clips that I saw on social was the Birmingham coaching staff complaining about the noise in the Alamo Dome that they were struggling to communicate. And at least you guys have played with good crowds in the dome. Although smart football fans, they're quiet when you guys are on offense. But at least you've been in front of enough big crowds.
Yeah, that helps. But but it's mainly the offense, like you say. When St. Louis's offense is out there, the crowd's going to be quiet, and our communication on defense should be fine. But offensively, we're working on that as part of what we do to get ready, part of our preparation.
All right, Coach, I got to ask you, what is the drink of choice in that big gulp?
I'm a Diet Dr. Pepper guy. Always have been. Long time. Most of the places I've been, they as a defensive coordinator or head coach, they have a little refrigerator for me. So stock it with Diet Dr. Pepper.
Do you have that as part of your contract? Is it like a rider in your negotiations?
No, well, they knew it when I got there. So most of the time, because that's all I had on my desk. That's all I drink anytime. So that's and it's not any different here. I'm glad.
What is different here, Coach? One of the videos over the weekend when you were shaking hands with the Birmingham coach, you said something along the lines of, "This is one of the greatest jobs." What is it about the UFL and coaching the Brahmas that makes it so great, thinking about all the stops that you have had throughout your career?
It's the players. They the players are invested. They want to do well. They want to play football. Their goal is to get in the NFL. Most of them. Some of them just want to keep playing football, but they listen. They're focused on what you're saying. They take coaching really well. I can't say that about every NFL team I've coached, or every NFL player. These guys, they're fun to coach because they want to do well, and they ask you questions how they can do better and what can I work on to get better. And then they listen in the meetings, and they take coaching really well. So, and now the winning part, that's fun too. And I think all teams, whatever league, it's the same. But the gratification I'm talking about of playing together and being part of a team that wins is pretty much the same in either league. But these guys, they're different as far as listening and wanting to do well.
Well, Coach, I got to tell you, from a fan's perspective, from my perspective as a fan, watching you have a good time like that and celebrating a win, I mean, it enhances that fan experience. At least it does for me. That's for sure.
It enhances my experience. I know that.
Winning's fun. Go get a win this week, because next Wednesday on Wednesdays with Wade, we'll be talking about a playoff game in the Alamo Dome if you get that W this weekend. Coach, have fun. Good luck this weekend.
You bet. Let's do it. Yeah. We want to come home.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Wednesdays with Wade. Wade Phillips, head coach of the San Antonio Brahmas, joining us here on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com.